Okay. I'm going to start today by just showing you a quick mayonnaise, and what we're going to do with the mayonnaise is then make tartar sauce. Traditionally mayonnaise made by hand, but I'm going to show you the quick way to do it today, okay? So, robo machine here, I want a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of English mustard, a tablespoon of white wine vinegar, a tablespoon of lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, a teaspoon of salt, and to that I'm going to add one whole egg, and 3 egg yolks. The reason I use the whole egg is when we're using a machine, if I was making it by hand, I would just use the egg. I would just use the egg yolks, but in the machine, because it mixes so quick, it tends to help it stabilise a little bit if we use the whole egg as well. The white whips up and just helps it stabilise. Very important when we make mayonnaise that everything is at room temperature. So you'll notice I had everything out here, but I make sure that it's at a sort of room temperature, because otherwise your mayonnaise runs the risk of splitting. So in with that. And then what we're going to do is put this onto the machine. The mayonnaise is what we call an emulsion. So those eggs now are going to blend with this oil, which is just some sunflower oil, and that is mayonnaise effectively. Commercially they tend to put stabilisers in there and lighten it with water. We might put a little drop of water in a second, but so this runs like so, and then all we do is put a very thin stream of oil in, and this will form mayonnaise. The only thing we have to remember with fresh mayonnaise is that our eggs are raw, yeah? So it's a high risk product because the eggs are not cooked. So one, we have to keep it in the fridge at all times and keep that bacteria at a minimum out of the danger zone. But two, what I also do is in college we throw it away at the end of every session. Now it will keep for 2 or 3 days, no problem, but I don't take the risk, because if one person's left it out on a bench, we've got salmonella bacteria there in the eggs. So temperature and the slow adding. Okay, so that's now formed an emulsion. I'm just adding a tiny touch of water there. It just makes it a little lighter and fluffier, and I just prefer that for my tartar sauce. So you've got there now that mayonnaise. Slightly lighter, slightly fluffier, and I just have a little taste for seasoning. If we want to add pepper to mayonnaise, we add a little bit of cayenne pepper rather than black pepper, because the black pepper is going to show, isn't it, in there, yeah? So we just add a little touch of cayenne. So, touch of tartar sauce now. Nice big spoon of mayonnaise in there, okay? To that, I've got some chopped parsley there. Chopped parsley. I've got some chopped gherkins, okay? When I chop the gherkins, before I chop them, I give them a wash off, because they always come in brine, so it can be really quite salty. Yeah, so I always give those a wash off, and then chop them, make sure they're nice and dry. And these things here are capers. Do you know capers? Yeah. And again, they're quite a strong flavour. I've washed them off. And I'm just going to roughly chop them down. And probably not got quite enough there. But it is important that you wash them and you dry them. If you don't wash them, it will ruin the flavour of your mayonnaise. And if you don't dry them, it will leach your mayonnaise so it goes watery. Yeah, so you have to sort of wring them out. So that's just a rough chop into a little bit of mayonnaise there. There you have a lovely homemade tartar sauce, yeah? Toast. If you wanted, you could add a little bit more lemon juice if you wanted it sharper. If you want to bring it down a touch, you can always add a little pinch of sugar to make it slightly sweeter. And it's totally up to you how you deal with that tartar sauce. For me, I like the acidity with it because you've got your fried fish, you've got your chips, they're quite oily, and then that acidity, like putting vinegar on your chips or lemon juice with your fish, helps cut that richness, yeah?